If you had to choose between handing over your own daughter or watching your entire family suffer the consequences, what would you do? Esteban had to make that decision, and what happened next was something no one expected. There was one thing Esteban always said when someone asked him why he did what he did. He said that people do not understand how things really work until they are deep in them. And he was right about something. No one knows what they are capable of until the options run out. Until you are standing there facing the decision and everything else no longer matters, only surviving one more day matters. Esteban lived in a town near Culiacán. It was neither big nor small. One of those where everyone knows each other, but no one says anything. Where the streets do not have official names, but everyone knows where whose house is. Where the children play in the street until it gets dark, and the mothers call them in screams to come in for dinner. A normal place, or one that seemed normal from the outside. He worked in a mechanic shop that belonged to his brother-in-law. He had been there for about 15 years. Since he had married Monica, the shop was at the entrance to the town. It was small. They had space for 3 cars at a time, sometimes not even that, but it was enough for them to live. Not well, but it was enough. He earned little, about 2,000 pesos a week, sometimes a little more if there were tips or if they fixed something more elaborate, but almost always it was 2,000, and with that he had to support his wife and 3 children. The oldest was Camilla. She was 16 years old when all this started. Then came a boy of 11 named Kevin, and the youngest was a girl of 6 named Fernanda. Esteban's problem was not that he was a bad person. He was not one of those who spend their time drinking or hitting his wife. He was not like that. He was a calm guy, one of those who come home after work and sit down to watch television, who play with their children on Sundays, who go to Mass from time to time. A normal guy. Esteban's problem was that he owed money, and not just any money. He owed it to people who do not forgive, people who collect in ways that one does not even want to imagine. It all started about 2 years ago. It had been something small at the beginning, a loan to fix the roof of the house after the September rains. The roof had leaked badly. Part of the ceiling in the children's bedroom had fallen. Monica could not sleep thinking that it was going to fall on them, so Esteban borrowed 10,000 pesos. They told him it was easy, that he would pay little by little, that there was no problem. He paid the first weeks, but then Kevin got sick. He got serious. They had to take him to the hospital every 2 days. The medicines cost a fortune. The insurance did not cover everything. Esteban had to ask for another loan, 15,000 this time, for the hospital, for the medicines, for everything Kevin needed. Kevin recovered, but the debt was still there, and every week it grew. The interests were like 30%. Esteban paid what he could, but it was never enough. He always ended up owing more. Then he had to ask for another loan to pay the other 2, and that was when everything got out of control. By the time he realized what he had done, he already owed almost 100,000 pesos. 100,000 pesos that he did not have, that he would never have, earning 2,000 a week, even in 10 years. And the people he owed were not from the bank. They were not from those finance companies that advertise on the radio. They were others, the ones who collect differently, the ones who do not send letters or make kind calls. Esteban started to have fear, real fear, the kind that does not let you sleep, that squeezes your chest when you are driving, that makes you see shadows where there is nothing. He started drinking more, smoking more. Monica asked him what was wrong with him. She told him she saw him strange, that he was different. Esteban did not tell her anything, just that he was tired, that the work was heavy. One day 3 guys arrived at the shop. It was around 5 in the afternoon, almost time to close. Esteban was alone because his brother-in-law had gone out to get some parts for a truck they had there for weeks. The guys arrived in a gray polarized truck, one of those that just looking at them gives you fear. The 3 got out. They did not say anything at first. They just walked around the shop looking at things, touching the tools. One of them grabbed a wrench and bounced it in his hand as if calculating something. Then he dropped it. It made a loud noise against the cement floor. The one who seemed the most important approached Esteban. He was a guy about 40 years old, full beard, short but stocky. One of those you can tell does exercise. He wore a white dress shirt, black pants. He looked good, as if he was going to a business meeting. He told Esteban that he knew who he was, that he knew how much he owed, that he knew where he lived, that he knew everything. Esteban did not say anything, he just nodded. The guy smiled, put a hand on his shoulder, told him he had 1 week, 7 days. After that, things were going to change. And when one of them said that things were going to change, he approached the desk where Esteban had his personal things. There was a photo of his family, the 5 of them together at a fair they had gone to last year. They were on a ride, all smiling. The guy grabbed the photo, looked at it, looked at Esteban, and put the photo back in its place. He did not say anything else. There was no need. Then the 3 left. Just as they had arrived, Esteban stayed there, standing, shaking, sweating cold. He had to sit down because his legs did not respond. That night he did not sleep, neither the next nor the other. He spent it in bed looking at the ceiling, thinking, calculating, looking for options that did not exist. He thought of everything in asking his family for money, but his family did not have either. His mother lived on a miserable pension. His brothers were the same or worse than him. He thought of selling the house, but the house was not his. It was rented. He had nothing of value. The television was old. The furniture was broken. The car did not even start well. He thought of leaving, of grabbing his family and going to another state, starting from zero. But one does not just leave like that from a place where everyone knows you, where everyone knows who you are. And besides, he did not have money even for gas, much less to start somewhere else. He thought of going to the police, of reporting, of asking for help. But that was like asking a wall for help, or worse, because there were police who worked with them. Everyone knew it, and if he went to report, the only thing he would achieve was that they would find out. And then, yes, there would be no turning back. It was Monica who noticed that something was wrong. One night she sat on the bed next to him, put a hand on his back, asked him what was happening, told him he had been like this for days, that he did not eat, that he did not sleep, that the children were asking. Esteban told her it was nothing, that he was just stressed, that they had many cars pending at the shop. Monica did not believe him. She told him to stop lying to her, that she knew him, that she knew when something bad was happening. Esteban was about to tell her. The words were there in his mouth, ready to come out, but he could not. He was afraid that Monica would get scared, that she would grab the children and leave, that everything would fall apart even faster. So he just told her it was work stuff, that it was going to be fixed, that she should not worry. Monica looked him in the eyes, sighed, told him okay that she believed him, but both knew it was a lie. Camilla was a good student. She was in the 3rd year of secondary school. She got pure 8s and 9s. She wanted to study nursing when she finished high school. She was always helping at home. She took care of her siblings when Monica had to go out to work. Because Monica also worked. She cleaned houses 3 times a week. She earned about 1,000 pesos weekly. With that, she helped for the food and for the children's expenses. Camila was one of those girls that everyone said was going to go far. She was educated, respectful, she got along well with everyone. At school, she had good grades. The teachers spoke well of her. They said she was responsible, that it was noticeable she came from a good family. She was also pretty. Not that it mattered, but she was. She had long, dark hair, big eyes. She was tall for her age. She already looked like a young lady, although she was still a child. And that was part of the problem. Although Esteban did not know it yet, the days passed. Esteban counted every hour, every minute. The deadline was approaching and he had nothing, absolutely nothing. He had tried to get more loans. He had gone to acquaintances, to work companions, to anyone who came to mind. No one had that amount, or they did not want to lend it to him, because everyone knew that if Esteban needed so much money so fast, it was because he was into something ugly. 3 days before the deadline was up, Esteban received a call. It was around 9 at night. He was having dinner with his family. Well, they were having dinner. He was just sitting there watching them eat without being able to take a bite. When the phone rang, he got up, went out to the patio, answered. It was one of the guys who had gone to the shop. They told him they had to see each other, that it was important, that there was something to talk about. Esteban asked if it could be the next day. The guy told him no, that it had to be that night, that he should go to a place. He gave him the address. It was a restaurant that was on the highway about 20 minutes from the town. Esteban told Monica that he had to go out, that a client had called, that there was an emergency. Monica looked at him strangely, but she did not say anything. She was already used to Esteban acting strange. What Esteban thought while driving to that place was that it was going to be the end, that they were going to take him somewhere and he was not going to return, that they were going to find him thrown on some dirt road, that Monica was going to have to identify his body, that his children were going to grow up without a father. He arrived at the restaurant. It was an old place, one of those that used to be good but no longer. The paint was peeling. Some letters on the sign did not light up. The parking lot was empty, except for 2 trucks. Esteban parked far away, stayed there sitting for a moment, thinking, breathing, preparing himself. He entered the restaurant. Inside there was little light. It smelled of fried food and beer. There were only 2 people. An older man about 50 years old, well-dressed, in a suit, expensive watch, and the guy who had called him, were sitting at a table in the back. The guy signaled him to approach. Esteban walked slowly, sat in front of them. The older man ordered coffee, asked Esteban if he wanted something. Esteban said no. He could not even think of eating or drinking anything. He felt his stomach closed. The older man looked at him for a while. He did not say anything, just looked at him as if studying him. Then he smiled, asked him if he knew why he was there. Esteban said no. The man nodded, took a sip of his coffee, left the cup on the table and started talking. He told him that he knew Esteban did not have the money, that was clear, that he had talked to his people and everyone had told him the same, that Esteban was a hard-working, honest guy, that he was not one of those who hide or who do not pay, but that he simply did not have where to get that amount from. Esteban nodded, asked him what was going to happen. Then the man told him that he had thought about it, that there was an option, a way where everyone won, where Esteban could settle his debt and also earn something extra. Esteban asked what he had to do. The man took out his phone, searched for something, then turned it so Esteban could see it. It was a photo of Camila leaving school. She had her uniform on, her backpack. She was walking with some friends, smiling. Esteban felt his blood run cold. He asked where they had gotten that photo from. The man told him that did not matter, that the important thing was something else. And that was when he explained. He told him that there were people who looked for girls, young girls, pretty, educated, to work in certain places. He did not say exactly what places. He did not say what kind of work. There was no need. Esteban understood everything without them having to tell him more, without them having to be explicit. The man explained that he just had to do one thing: take Camilla to a site, a specific point, nothing more, hand her over. After that, the debt would be settled completely, as if it had never existed. And, in addition, they were going to give him 30,000 pesos so he could fix what he needed, so he could be calm. Esteban got up from the table, threw the chair back, told them they were crazy, that he was never going to do that they should look for another way, that they should give him more time, that he was going to get the money. The older man did not flinch, stayed there sitting calmly drinking his coffee. When Esteban finished shouting, the man told him to sit down, that he had not finished talking. Esteban stayed standing, shaking. The man told him to think well, that he had 2 days to decide, and that if he did not accept, the consequences were going to be for his entire family, not just for him, for his wife, for Kevin, for Fernanda, and obviously for Camila too. He told him that anyway, there were people who already had her watched, that if he did not accept the deal, they were going to do things their way, and that way was not going to be nice, that at least if Esteban cooperated, he could make sure things were done well, that there was no unnecessary violence. Esteban felt his soul leaving his body. He asked how they could ask him something like that. The man told him that business is business, that it was nothing personal, that he understood it was difficult, but that was how things were, that he had not invented the rules, he just followed them. Then he gave him a card. It had a phone number, nothing more. He told him that when he decided to call him, that he had until Friday, that after that there was no deal, only consequences. Esteban left the restaurant, got into his truck, and stayed there. I do not know how long, 1 hour, 2. He could not drive, he could not move, he just stayed there sitting, crying. When he finally returned home, it was around 1 in the morning. Monica was awake. She asked him where he had been, why he had taken so long. Esteban told her that the client's car had been more complicated than he thought. Monica asked him if he was okay. Esteban told her yes, that he was just tired. He went to shower. He stayed there under the water I do not know how long until the hot water ran out, trying to think, trying to find a way out, but there was none. No matter how he turned it around, there was no way out. If you stay until the end of this story, you will understand why some decisions have no turning back, and why there are things that cannot be undone even if you want to, even if you regret it, even if you give everything you have to change them. The next 2 days were the worst of Esteban's life. Every time he saw Camilla, he felt like he was dying when she talked to him, when she asked him for money for something at school, when she told him how her day had gone. Everything was torture. Monica also noticed that Esteban was different, but not just stressed. He was like absent, as if he was not really there, as if his body was, but his mind somewhere else. She asked him things, and Esteban did not answer or answered anything senseless. One night Camilla approached Esteban. He was sitting in the living room, in the dark, just thinking. Camilla turned on the light, sat next to him, asked him if he was angry with her. Esteban asked her why she thought that. Camilla told him that he had been days without talking to her well, that she felt he was avoiding her. Esteban hugged her, told her no, that he was not angry, that he just had things in his head. Camilla told him that she loved him very much, that if he needed help, she was there. Esteban told her that he knew, that she was a good daughter, the best. That night Esteban did not sleep at all. He spent it awake thinking of options, thinking of ways to get out of this. He thought of killing the guy from the restaurant, but that was crazy. He did not even know where he lived. And even if he knew, he was not one of those. He had never done something like that. He would not even know how. He thought of talking to the guy's boss, of asking for mercy, of begging, but he knew that did not work. These people do not work like that. They have no pity. They do not care about anything but the business. He thought of fleeing with his family, but to where, and with what money? And even if they left, they were going to find them sooner or later, because these people have contacts everywhere. There is nowhere to really hide. And then he thought of the other option, the one he did not want to think about, the one that had him awake night after night. And for the first time he allowed himself to consider it for real. If he did what they asked, his family would be safe. Monica, Kevin, Fernanda, all except Camilla. But Camilla, the guy had said that anyway they were going to grab her, that if he did not cooperate, they were going to do things their way. So, maybe, if he did it, at least he could make sure they did not hurt her, that there was no violence, that things were good. Not good, but less bad, he tried to convince himself, to justify it, to find a way in which this made sense, in which it was not the worst thing a father could do to his daughter. He got up from bed, went to the kitchen, grabbed the card the guy had given him, looked at it, the number printed there, so simple, just 10 digits. But those 10 digits meant the end of everything. He dialed, waited. They answered on the second ring as if they had been waiting for his call. Esteban did not say anything at first, just breathed. The person on the other side did not say anything either, just waited. Finally, Esteban spoke. He said he accepted nothing more. The person told him good, that he had made the right decision. He asked when it could be. Esteban said he needed to think of something, how to do it. The person told him he had until the next day, that at the latest by noon he had to have everything ready. They explained how it had to be. He had to take Camilla to a specific point on the highway. At 3 p.m, he had to tell her they were going somewhere, whatever, an errand, to visit someone, anything. He just had to take her there, and that was it. After that, he could leave, and everything would be settled. Esteban hung up, stayed there, standing in the kitchen with the phone in his hand, shaking, crying in silence, so no one would hear him. What happened that night in Esteban's head, no one knows. No one can know because there are dark places in the human mind that only the one who visits them knows. Places where justifications start to make sense, where the impossible becomes the only option. The next morning Esteban got up as if nothing, showered, dressed, had breakfast with his family, acted normal, as if it was just any day. Monica asked him if he was going to the shop. Esteban told her yes, that later he had to do some errands, that maybe he would arrive late. Camilla was getting ready to go to school. Esteban saw her there, standing in front of the mirror, combing her hair, putting on her earrings. So normal, so unaware of everything, so confident. And something inside him broke. He told her that after school she could accompany him somewhere, that he needed her to help him with something. Camilla asked him where. Esteban told her they had to go pick up some parts that were in a somewhat far place, that he needed help to load them. Camilla told him yes, that there was no problem. Esteban went to the shop. He did nothing all morning. He just stayed there sitting. His brother-in-law asked him several times if he was okay. Esteban said yes, that he just had not slept well. At 2:30 he left the shop. He told his brother-in-law that he had to do an errand, that he was not coming back. He went to Camilla's school. He arrived when they were leaving. Camilla saw him and approached. She asked him if they were leaving already. Esteban nodded. They got into the truck. They went silent. Camilla was looking at her phone, answering messages, laughing at something they had sent her. Esteban looked at her out of the corner of his eye. He tried to memorize her face, her laugh, everything, because deep down he knew this was the end, that it would never be the same again. They left the town, took the highway. Camilla asked him exactly where they were going. Esteban told her to a business that was further ahead. Camilla did not ask more. She trusted her dad. She had never had reason not to trust. They arrived at the point they had indicated. It was an abandoned restaurant, one of those that has been closed for years. The windows broken, the paint falling, the parking lot full of trash and weeds. There was a black truck waiting, polarized, exactly as they had told him. Esteban parked, turned off the truck. Camilla looked around, asked him what place that was, why everything was so ugly. Esteban told her to wait a moment, that he was coming. He got out, walked toward the black truck, approached. The driver's window lowered. It was the guy who had called him. He asked if it was the girl in the truck. Esteban nodded. The guy told him good, that they had fulfilled, that he should forget about the matter. Esteban asked what they were going to do with her. The guy told him that was no longer his problem. Esteban returned to his truck, opened the door, told Camilla to get out, that she had to go with those gentlemen. Camilla looked at him confused. She asked, "What gentlemen? For what?" Esteban did not look at her. He just repeated that she should get out, that she had to go with them. Camilla started to get scared. She asked what was happening, why he was acting like that. Esteban shouted at her to get out. It was the first time in his life he shouted at her like that. Camilla got scared. She got out with her backpack. She was shaking. She asked Esteban if he was going with her. Esteban said no, that she had to go alone. Camilla started to cry. She told him she did not understand what was happening, that she was scared. At that moment, Camilla knew something was very wrong. She knew it in her dad's eyes, in how he could not look her in the face, in how his voice trembled when he spoke. She knew everything without anyone telling her. One of the guys from the truck got out, approached Camilla, told her to accompany him, that nothing was happening, that everything was fine. Camilla backed away, shouted at Esteban please not to leave her, that she did not know what was happening, but that she was very scared. Please, let's go home. Esteban started the truck, did not say anything, did not turn around, just started and left. The last thing he heard was Camilla screaming, calling him, begging him, and then he heard nothing more because he was already far away. He drove without knowing where. He just drove, crying, shouting alone in the truck, hitting the steering wheel, asking himself what he had done, what he had just done. He stopped on a dirt road. He got out, vomited, kept vomiting until he had nothing. Then he stayed there, sitting on the floor with his head in his hands. Hours passed, he does not know how many, until it got dark. Then he returned home. When he arrived, Monica was hysterical. She asked him where Camilla was, why she had not arrived from school. Esteban told her he did not know, that he had not seen her. Monica told him she had talked to Camilla's friends, that they had told her they saw her leave with him, with Esteban in his truck. Esteban said that was not true, that he had not picked her up. Monica asked him why he was lying, where his daughter was. Esteban could not take it anymore. He told her everything. He told her he owed money, that they had threatened him, that he had no option, that they had told him if he did not do what they asked, they were going to hurt everyone. Monica could not believe what she was hearing. She asked him what they had asked him to do. Esteban could not say it. He could not say the words. Monica grabbed him by the shirt, shook him, shouted at him to tell her what he had done with her daughter, and that was when Esteban told her. He told her he had handed her over, that he had had no option. Monica stayed paralyzed. Then she started to scream, hit him, told him how he could have done that he had sold his own daughter, that he was a monster. Esteban cried, begged her forgiveness, told her he had had no option. Monica grabbed Kevin and Fernanda. The two children were scared. They did not understand what was happening, why their mom was crying, why their dad was on the floor. Monica told them to grab their things, that they were leaving. Esteban begged her not to leave. Monica told him she was never going to speak to him again, that for her, it was just as well if she never saw him in her life again. She left with the children. She went with her sister who lived in another town. She left Esteban alone. Esteban stayed there in that empty house, silent, only with his thoughts, with what he had done. What came next was something no one expected, not even Esteban. Because when one makes a deal with them, they always charge more than agreed. During the first weeks, Esteban stopped going to the shop. His brother-in-law tried to talk to him, but Esteban did not want to see anyone. He did not want to talk to anyone. He stayed locked in his house, drinking, trying to sleep, but without being able to. Monica filed a report, went to the authorities, told them everything, gave them names, everything she knew, which was not much, but everything she had. The authorities told her they were going to investigate, that they were going to contact her, but Monica knew that meant nothing, that they were not going to do anything real. 2 months passed since Esteban had handed over Camilla. 2 months of not knowing anything about her, of not having any news, any sign. It was as if the earth had swallowed her, as if she had never existed. Monica had called all the places that came to mind: hospitals, clinics, shelters, organizations that helped missing people, anything she found on the internet or that someone recommended to her, but no one knew anything, or if they knew, they did not tell her. She had gone several times to the police, to different stations. She had talked to different officers. They all told her the same, that they were going to investigate, that they were going to contact her, that they should be on alert. But nothing ever happened. They never called her back. And when she returned to ask, they told her the case was still open, that they were still looking. But Monica could see in their faces that it was not true, that they were not doing anything real. Once she talked to an officer who seemed different, younger, with a face that still cared about things. She explained everything from the beginning. She told him about Esteban's debts, about the threats, about how he had handed over Camilla. The officer took notes, seemed to care. He told her he was going to do everything possible. Monica felt hope for the first time in weeks. But 2 days later, that same officer called her. He told her he was very sorry, that they had told him to drop the case, that it was not his jurisdiction. Monica asked whose it was. Then, the officer did not answer directly. He just told her to be careful, that sometimes it is better not to look for certain answers, that she should take care of her other children. And he hung up. Monica understood then that there was no help, that they were alone, that the system that was supposed to protect them was not going to do anything because it was rotten from the inside, because there were people everywhere, in the police, in the government, everywhere, and they protected the business, not the victims. Esteban, meanwhile, continued living in that empty house. His brother-in-law had finally told him he could not continue at the shop, that people were talking, that they had stopped coming because of him, that he was sorry, but he had to leave. Esteban did not say anything. He just picked up his things and left. He had no job, no money. He lived off the little he had saved, which was not much. Sometimes he went days without eating, not because he could not, but because he did not feel like it. The food tasted like nothing. Everything tasted like nothing. He started receiving those calls I talked about with instructions to do things. At the beginning, they were small things, picking up packages, taking them from one place to another. Esteban knew what was in those packages. There was no need to be a genius to realize, but he did what they asked, because what else could he do? The first time he had to take a person was different. They told him to go to a house, to pick up someone, to take him to another place. Nothing more. When he arrived at the house, there was a man waiting outside, about 30 years old. He looked nervous, scared. When he saw Esteban, he approached quickly, got into the truck. They did not talk the whole way. The guy just looked out the window as if calculating, as if he was thinking of getting out at any moment and running. Esteban drove without looking at him. They arrived at the place. It was a restaurant. There were people waiting outside. When the guy saw them, he turned paler. He told Esteban please not to leave him there, to give him another chance. Esteban did not say anything. The guy got out, walked toward those people, and Esteban left. He did not know what happened to that man. He did not want to know, but that night he could not sleep thinking about him, thinking that he had been part of something, that he had helped something happen, and that he was not so different from what had happened to Camila. After that time there were more people, more places. Sometimes they were men, other times women. Once it was a girl about Camila's age. Esteban did not want to look at her much, but he saw her, and in her face he saw the same fear that Camila must have had, the same terror, the same confusion of not understanding what was happening. Every time he did something like this, Esteban died a little more inside, until he reached a point where he no longer felt anything, as if something in him had turned off, as if the part that made him human no longer worked. The people in the town started to murmur louder. They were no longer just looks. Now, when Esteban went to the supermarket, people moved away. When he walked down the street, people changed sidewalks. The children who used to play on his street no longer did. Their parents did not let them because everyone knew or believed they knew. And in a town like that, beliefs become truths. One day, Esteban went to the corner store, the same one where he always bought, where he had bought since he moved. The lady who attended had always been kind to him. She gave extras to his children, gave them candies. But that day, when Esteban entered, the lady did not greet him, did not even look at him. Esteban grabbed what he needed, went to pay. The lady charged without looking at him, gave him his change, and turned around. Esteban asked her if something was wrong. The lady did not answer at first. Then, without turning, she told him she did not want him to come back to her store, that he was not welcome. Esteban asked her why. The lady finally turned to look at him, and in her eyes there was something Esteban had not seen before. Disgust. She told him that everyone knew what he had done, that he had sold his daughter, that he was a monster, that people like him did not deserve to be alive. Esteban left there without saying anything. He could not, because the lady was right about everything, and he knew it. Kevin, meanwhile, was not well. At school he got into trouble constantly. He fought with other children. The teachers called Monica every week. They told her that Kevin was being aggressive, that he did not respect the rules, that he needed help. Monica took Kevin to a psychologist, but they could only go twice because she did not have money for more sessions. And the psychologist told her that Kevin needed constant therapy, that he had trauma, that he needed to process what had happened. But how did Kevin process something like that? How do you explain to an 11-year-old boy that his dad handed over his sister, that his family was destroyed, that nothing was going to be like before? Monica tried to talk to him several times, but Kevin did not want to. He locked himself in his room or went out to the street. Sometimes he arrived late. Monica did not know who he was with, what he did, and that terrified her because she had seen how children without guidance ended up. She had seen how they recruited them, how they promised them things, how they gave them a sense of belonging that they did not find at home. Fernanda, the youngest, stopped talking completely for 6 weeks. She did not say anything, not even to her mom. When Monica took her to the doctor did tests, asked her things. Fernanda did not answer. She just looked at nothing. The doctor told Monica that it was selective mutism caused by trauma, that it was the brain's way of Fernanda protecting herself, of turning off, that she needed time and professional help. Monica did not have time or money for professional help. She had to work. She had to support her children. She had to keep living, even if she did not know how. Her sister with whom they were living was good. She had given them a roof, food, support. But Monica knew they could not stay there forever, that they had to find their own place, start over. She got a job cleaning more houses. Now she went 5 days a week, sometimes 6. She earned a little more, enough to start saving, to look for a place to live. But every peso she saved, she felt like she was stealing it, because she should be looking for Camila. She should be doing something. But what? What could it be that she had not already done? What no one tells you about losing someone like that, it is that life goes on, that you have to keep paying rent, that you have to keep buying food, that your other children keep needing you, and that the world does not stop because your world stopped. One night, Monica was cleaning a house. It was big, nice, of people with money. While she was mopping a room, she found a picture frame thrown. It was a photo of a family, dad, mom, and 3 children, all smiling. They looked happy. Monica stayed there looking at that photo and started to cry. She could not stop. She cried there in that empty room until no more tears came out. The lady of the house found her like that. She asked her what was happening. Monica did not want to tell her. She told her she was sorry, that she had just felt bad. The lady told her not to worry, to take a moment, to go to the bathroom to wash her face. Monica went, looked at herself in the mirror. She no longer recognized herself. She looked years older, tired, empty. Meanwhile, Esteban continued receiving calls. He continued doing what they asked. He had already lost count of how many times, how many things, how many people. Everything mixed. Everything was the same, an endless cycle from which he could not get out. Once they told him to go to a place in the early morning, around 3 in the morning, to pick up something. When he arrived, there was a truck parked, no one outside. They told him what he had to pick up was in the trunk. Esteban opened the trunk. Inside there were bags, big black plastic bags like garbage. Esteban knew what was in those bags. He knew by the smell, by the weight when he loaded them, by how they felt. They told him to take them to an empty lot, to leave them there, nothing more. Esteban drove with those bags in his truck, with that, with someone who had been a person who had had family, life, dreams, and now was just that, something that had to be discarded. He arrived at the lot, left the bags where they told him, left. That night he vomited. He vomited until his stomach hurt, until he could not any more and thought of ending everything, of grabbing his truck and crashing it against something, against whatever, so it would stop, so everything would stop, But he did not do it because he was a coward. He had always been. That is why he had handed over Camilla. That is why he continued doing what they asked, because he did not have the courage to say no, to face the consequences, to put an end to everything. The days turned into weeks, the weeks into months. 4 months had already passed since Esteban had handed over Camilla. 4 months of not knowing anything, of living in a hell he himself had created. Monica finally found a small 2-bedroom apartment. It was not in the best place, but it was what she could afford. She moved there with Kevin and Fernanda. She tried to make the space cozy. She tried to make it feel like a home. But how do you turn a place into a home when you carry all this on you? She put photos on the wall from when they were a complete family, from when Camilla was there. Kevin told her why she put those photos, that it only made it hurt more. Monica told him because they could not pretend that Camilla had not existed, that she was part of them, that she always would be. Kevin did not say anything more, but Monica saw him taking one of the photos from his room, the one next to his bed. He put it in a drawer as if by hiding it, he could hide the pain. Fernanda started talking again, little by little, loose words, short phrases. But something was something. Monica clung to those small victories because they were the only thing she had, the only thing that told her that maybe someday things could be a little better. Not good. They were never going to be good, but maybe a little less bad. One afternoon, Monica was cooking. It was the weekend. The children were watching television. They knocked on the door. Monica went to open. It was a woman about 40 years old. Monica did not know her. The woman asked her if she was Monica. She said yes. The woman handed her an envelope. She told her she was very sorry and left. Monica opened the envelope. Inside, there were papers. They were from the court, divorce papers. Esteban had started them. Monica did not know whether to laugh or cry, as if it mattered now, as if there was something to save. She signed the papers, sent them back, and that was it legally, at least, although in reality it had ended months ago. From that day on the highway, what Monica did not know is that Esteban had started those papers not for him, but for her, so she could move on, so she would not carry his last name with the shame, with the weight of what he had done. It was the only thing he could give her, the only good thing he could do. Esteban received the signed papers, put them in a drawer. Nothing mattered anymore. Nothing really mattered. He just waited. He waited for at some point everything to end. In whatever way, he continued doing the jobs they asked him. Each time they were worse, darker, more dangerous, as if they were testing him, seeing how far he could go, or wanting him to reach the point where he could no longer and break completely. Once he had to go to a place, a house. They told him to enter, to see something, that he had to be there, that it was part of the job. When he entered, there were several people, about 10, all men. They were around something. Esteban approached and saw there was a man tied to a chair, beaten, bleeding. The guys were doing things to him, asking him things. The man cried, begged. Esteban stayed there, standing, wanting to leave, wanting to turn around, but they had told him he had to stay, that he had to see, that it was part of the lesson. He does not know how much time passed, half an hour, until they finished, until the man no longer begged, no longer said anything. And then they told Esteban to leave, that he had seen what he needed to see, that he should not forget that that was what happened when people did not cooperate. Esteban drove back home on autopilot, arrived, went to shower, stayed under the water trying to wash away what he had seen, but it did not go away. It stayed there in his head, in his eyes, every time he closed them. That night, He drank more than normal. He finished a whole bottle and then another, until the world became blurry, until he could no longer think, until he could finally sleep. But even asleep, the images were there, chasing him. More weeks passed. Every day was the same. Monica working, the children at school, Esteban waiting for the next call, all living in their own hells, separated but connected by what had happened. And then that night arrived, the night he received the different call, the one they told him to go to that place, the abandoned house where he found Camilla. When he saw her there after 4 months, it was as if time had stopped and accelerated at the same time. It was her, his daughter. But it was not her. It was someone different, someone they had broken, they had destroyed, and he had been the one who had put her there. After what happened, after the guy did what he did, Esteban stayed there with Camilla. He could not move, he could not process, he could only be there, holding her, as if holding her could somehow undo everything, change everything. He does not know how much time passed. The hours meant nothing there. Time did not exist. Only that moment existed, that room, that impossible reality to accept. When he finally could move, he grabbed his phone. His hands trembled so much that it fell twice before he could unlock it. He dialed Monica's number. The phone rang. Once, 2, 3. Monica answered. Her voice sounded tired. She asked who it was. Esteban tried to speak, but he could not. The words did not come out, just sobbing sounds. Monica asked who it was, what was happening. Esteban finally could say his name. Monica stayed silent. Then she asked what he wanted, why he was calling. Esteban could only say an address. He told her to go, to bring help. Monica asked why, what had happened. Esteban could not tell her. He just begged her to go. Monica knew in the tone of his voice, in the way it sounded, she knew that something terrible had happened, that it had to do with Camilla. She told him she was going, that she was coming. She hung up, woke up her sister, told her to take care of the children, that she had to go somewhere. Her sister asked her where. Monica did not tell her. She just told her to take care of Kevin and Fernanda, that she should not let them out, that she should not let them see anything if someone came. Monica called the police on the way, gave them the address, told them there was an emergency, that they should go. The operators asked her what kind of emergency. Monica just told them to go, that they would see when they arrived. She arrived before the police saw Esteban's truck parked outside that house. She got out of her car, walked toward the door. It was open. She entered. The place was dark. It smelled bad. She followed the hallway. At the end there was an open door, a weak light. It came from there. She entered the room and saw. She saw Esteban. She saw Camilla. And she knew. She knew that her worst nightmare had become reality, that what she had feared during 4 months had happened. She stayed there standing. She could not move. She could not breathe. She could not process what she was seeing. Esteban turned to look at her. Their faces met. And at that moment, there were no words. There was nothing to say. There was only pain. Pain so deep that it did not fit in the body. Monica walked slowly toward them, knelt, touched Camilla. Her skin was cold. Monica hugged her, cried. Esteban also cried, the two there with their daughter between them, with what had been their family, with the only thing that had ever united them. The police arrived, entered the room, saw the scene, called more people, for doctors, forensic, more police. The place filled with people, with voices, with movement. They tried to separate Monica from Camilla. Monica did not want to let her go. She did not want to leave her. They had to separate her between two people. Esteban did not resist when they arrested him. He let them put the handcuffs on him, let them take him out of there. Monica saw him leave. She did not say anything, she did not shout, she did not cry more. She just looked at him. And in that look there was everything. There was hate, there was pain. There was a definitive end to anything that had remained between them. They took everyone to the station. They sat Monica in a room. An officer brought her water, asked her if she needed something. Monica did not answer. She just looked at the wall. The officer tried to talk to her, to ask her questions. Monica could not. She had no words. She had nothing. Then more people arrived. Detectives asked her questions, many questions. When had been the last time she saw Camilla? What had happened? What did she know? Monica told them everything from the beginning. The deaths, the threats, what Esteban had done, everything. The detectives took notes, recorded, asked more questions. Monica answered on autopilot, as if it was not her who was talking, as if she was seeing everything from outside, from far away. They asked her if she knew who they were, if she had names, addresses, something. Monica told them no, that Esteban had never told her, that she did not know anything, only what he had told her. The detectives exchanged looks. Monica knew they did not believe her completely, or that it did not matter because anyway they were not going to do anything real. They told her she could leave, that they were going to contact her, that they needed her to formally identify the body. Monica asked about Esteban, where he was, if she could see him. The detectives told her no, that he was detained, that he was part of the investigation. Monica nodded, got up, left there. Outside. It was already dawning. She did not know what time it was. It did not matter to her. She walked to her car, sat down, and stayed there looking at the dawn, thinking that it was the first day in her whole life where Camilla no longer existed, and all the days that came were going to be the same, days without her, forever. She returned home. Her sister was awake. She was waiting for her. When she saw Monica's face, she knew. She did not ask questions, she just hugged her. Monica collapsed. She cried in her sister's arms like a child. Her sister held her, caressed her hair, told her everything was going to be okay, but both knew it was a lie. Kevin and Fernanda were still asleep. Monica did not know how to tell them, how to explain to them. Her sister told her to wait, to rest a little, that later they would see. Monica went to her room, lay down, closed her eyes, but she could not sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Camilla in that room, in that state. She got up, went out. The children were already awake. Kevin was watching television, Fernanda eating cereal. Monica sat with them, told them they had to talk. Kevin turned off the television. The two looked at her. Monica did not know where to start. She told them there was news about Camilla. Kevin asked, "What news, if they had found her?" Monica nodded. She told them yes, that they had found her. Kevin smiled. He asked when she was coming, when he was going to see her. Monica started to cry. Kevin stopped smiling. He asked what was happening. Monica told them that Camilla was not coming, that she was not going to be able to see her. Kevin did not understand. He asked why. Monica could not say the words. Her sister said them for her. She told them that Camilla had left, that she was no longer there, that she was in heaven. Now Fernanda asked if that meant she was like her grandma. Her grandma had passed away 2 years ago. They had explained to her that she had gone to heaven. Monica nodded. She told her yes, that it was like her grandma. Fernanda started to cry. Kevin stayed silent. Then he asked how it had happened. Monica did not tell him the truth. She could not. She told him it had been an accident, that she had not suffered. Kevin looked at her, and Monica knew he knew it was not true, that he knew something more had happened. But Kevin did not ask more. He just got up, went to his room, closed the door. The following days were a blur. Monica had to go to formally identify the body. It was the hardest thing she had done in her life. Seeing Camilla there on that cold slab covered with a sheet, they uncovered her face. Monica had to confirm that yes, it was her, that it was her daughter. She signed papers, many papers, for the funeral, for everything. They asked her if she wanted a complete autopsy. Monica said no, that she did not want them to do more things to Camilla, that she had already suffered enough. The officers respected her decision. The funeral was small, only close family. Some friends of Camilla from school, her teachers. Monica did not invite many people. She did not want it to be a spectacle. She did not want looks of pity. She did not want any of that. Esteban was not there. Obviously, he was still detained. They had denied him bail. They had told him he was a flight risk. Monica was glad. She did not want to see him there. She did not want him to be close to Camilla, not even in her farewell. At the funeral, Monica read something, some words she had written about Camilla, about who she was, about her dreams, about everything she was going to do and was not going to be able to. She cried while reading. Everyone cried. It was impossible not to. Kevin did not want to say anything. He stayed seated, silent, with his gaze lost. Fernanda clung to Monica all the time. She did not let her go. As if she was afraid that, if she let go, she was also going to disappear. They buried Camilla in the municipal cemetery. Monica bought a tombstone. Nothing luxurious. She did not have money for that, but something dignified with her name, her dates, and a phrase that said, "Always in our hearts." It was simple, but it was true. After the funeral, life continued. Because life always continues, no matter how broken you are, no matter how impossible it seems, the world keeps turning, the days keep passing, and you have to keep moving, even if you do not want to. Monica returned to work a week later. She needed the money. She needed to keep busy. She needed something that would take her out of her head. The ladies she worked for were kind. They gave her condolences. They told her if she needed time, they would give it to her. But Monica preferred to work. She preferred to be doing something, anything but being alone with her thoughts. Kevin got worse. The problems at school multiplied. He fought more. He missed classes. Once they found him smoking in the bathroom. Another time they caught him with a knife. They suspended him. Then they suspended him again. The director called Monica, told her that Kevin needed help, that if he did not receive it, they were going to have to expel him. Monica did not know what to do. She took Kevin again to a psychologist. This time she found one from the government free. Kevin went to 3 sessions. Then he refused to go more. He told Monica that it did nothing, that talking did not change anything, that Camilla was still just as dead. Monica did not know what to tell him because he was right. Fernanda became more quiet, more withdrawn. She no longer played as before. She no longer smiled. She spent hours in her room drawing. She always drew the same thing: a house, a family, 4 people. Monica knew who they were: her, Camilla, Kevin, Fernanda. Esteban was not there. Fernanda had erased him from her family as if he had never existed. Meanwhile, Esteban continued in jail waiting for the trial. They had assigned him a public defender, a young guy with too many cases who did not have time for him. Esteban told him everything, the whole story. The lawyer told him he was going to try to argue that he had acted under threat, that he had been coerced, but that the truth was difficult because, in the end, He had been the one who made the decision, who handed over his daughter. The trial never happened because 2 weeks after they arrested him, one Sunday morning, the guards did the round. They checked all the cells. When they arrived at Esteban's, they found him. He was not there. There was nothing left. The authorities said it had been himself, that he had used his shirt, that he had tied it to the bars, that he had made the decision. The official report said that, and maybe it was true. Maybe Esteban had finally found the courage he did not have before. Or maybe not. Maybe it had been something else. Because in jails things happen. There are people inside who work for people outside. And Esteban knew too much. He had seen too much. He had been part of too many things. Monica found out by a call from the jail. They told her what had happened, that she had to go to identify the body again. Again. She had to see someone from her family on a cold slab. She went alone. She did not tell anyone, not her sister, not the children. She arrived. They took her where he was, uncovered the sheet. It was him, Esteban. The man she had married, the father of her children, the man who had destroyed everything. Monica did not cry. She did not feel anything. She just looked. She confirmed that yes, it was him. She signed what she had to sign and left. There was no funeral for Esteban. Monica did not organize anything. His family neither. No one wanted to. No one felt he deserved one. They cremated him. They gave the ashes to Monica in a simple urn. Monica kept them in a closet without knowing what to do with them, without wanting to throw them away, but without wanting to have them either. She did not tell Kevin and Fernanda right away. She waited a few days. Then she sat with them. She told them that their dad had also left, that he was no longer there. Kevin asked how. Monica told him it had been in jail, that he had had an accident. Kevin looked at her, and Monica knew he did not believe her either, but Kevin just nodded. He did not ask more. Fernanda asked if her dad was also in heaven. Monica did not know what to answer, how to tell her no, that her dad was in another place or in no place. She told her yes, that he was there, that he was with Camila. Fernanda seemed to conform with that. The months passed. Monica and the children moved again to another state, far away, where no one knew them, where no one knew the story. Monica got a job cleaning houses there, too. It was what she knew how to do, the only thing she could do without preparation. Kevin finished primary, went to secondary, continued having problems but less. Or maybe he had just learned to hide them better. He became more quiet, more distant. He spent a lot of time alone. Monica tried to talk to him, but Kevin no longer shared anything. He no longer let anyone in. Fernanda grew, became more independent, stronger, or at least that seemed. She got good grades, had friends, seemed normal. But Monica knew there were things Fernanda did not say, that there were nights where she heard her crying in her room, that there were days where she saw her lost, as if she was not really there. Years passed. Kevin turned 18, then 21. He managed to enter university against all odds. With scholarships, with work, he studied engineering. He was doing well, or so he told Monica. Monica wanted to believe him. She wanted to believe that Kevin was okay, that he had overcome everything, but she knew, that no one overcomes something like that. Fernanda turned 16, the same age Camila had been. That birthday was difficult for everyone. No one said it, but everyone thought it. Everyone remembered. Monica made a cake. She tried to make it a happy day, but how could she? How do you celebrate when every birthday of Fernanda was a reminder of what Camila was not going to have? Once Fernanda asked Monica about Camila. about what had really happened. She was about 13 years old when she asked. Monica had told her the simple version, the one of the accident. But Fernanda was no longer a child. She no longer conformed with that answer. She asked if it had been because of her dad's fault, if he had had something to do with it. Monica did not know what to tell her. If she lied to her, Fernanda was going to know. If she told her the truth, it was going to destroy the little that remained of the memory of her father. In the end, she told her the truth, part of it, enough for Fernanda to understand, but not so much as to burden her with all the weight. Fernanda did not cry, she just nodded, as if deep down she had already known. She thanked Monica for telling her, and never asked again. But Monica noticed that after that, Fernanda removed all the photos where Esteban appeared. Did she keep them or throw them away? Monica never knew. Kevin never asked. He already knew from the beginning, or had deduced enough, but he never talked about that with Monica. He never talked about Esteban. It was as if for Kevin his dad had never existed. He had erased him completely from his life, from his memory, from everything. Monica, meanwhile, continued forward. She worked, paid the bills, took care of her children. It was the only thing she could do. Some days were easier, others were impossible. There were days where she woke up, and for a second she forgot. For a second, everything was fine, and then she remembered, and the weight returned, everything returned. She never remarried, she never had another partner, not because there had not been opportunities, but because she did not want to. She could not. How do you trust someone again after that? How do you let someone into your life when the last person you let in almost destroyed it completely? She continued going to therapy when she could pay for it, when she was not too tired, when she did not have to cover an extra shift. The therapist told her she had to forgive, that she had to let go, that she had to move forward. Monica nodded, said yes, that she was going to try, but deep down she knew no, that she was never going to forgive, that she was never going to let go, that this was something she was going to carry until the day she left. The nightmares never stopped, they changed, they evolved, but they were always there. It was always Camilla. It was always that moment. It was always the impotence of not having been able to do anything. Monica visited Camilla's grave. At the beginning she went every week, then every month, then when she could. She took flowers, talked to her, told her things, told her how Kevin and Fernanda were, told her about her life as if Camilla could hear her, as if somehow she was still there. Kevin never went to the grave, not even once. Monica invited him. Kevin always said no, that he could not, that he did not want to. Monica did not insist. She understood, or tried to understand. Fernanda went sometimes. She sat there, did not say anything, just stayed. Monica left her, did not ask what she thought, did not ask how she felt. She was just there with her, the two in silence, the two with their pain. Years have passed since all that. Kevin now is 21 years old. He is in university. He continues studying engineering. He has a girlfriend. Her name is Andrea. She is a good girl. Monica met her once. She liked her. It gives her hope to see Kevin with someone, to see that he can have something normal, something good. Fernanda is 16. She is in the 3rd year of high school. She wants to study psychology. She says she wants to help people who have gone through difficult things. Monica knows why. She knows it is her way of processing, of giving meaning to everything, of turning the pain into something useful. Monica now is 42 years old. She looks older. Time has not been kind to her. She has gray hair, deep wrinkles, rough hands from so much work. Her back hurts constantly. The doctors have told her it is because of the work, that she is forcing her body too much. But what can she do? She has to work. She has to continue. Sometimes she thinks about Esteban. She cannot help it. She thinks about the man she met, the one she fell in love with, the one who was a good dad for years, and wonders at what moment he changed, at what moment he became someone capable of doing what he did, or if that capacity, that darkness, had always been there, and only needed the right circumstances to come out. She never has an answer. Probably she never will, and maybe it is better that way. Maybe some questions have no answer, or the answers are so complicated that there is no point in looking for them. What Monica does know is that they survived, she and her children, against everything, against the odds, against the weight of everything that happened. They are still here. They continue forward. They are not well. Maybe they never will be. But they are alive. And some days, that is enough. This story is fiction. The names, the places, the facts, everything invented, but based on realities, on things that happen, on lives that are shattered, on decisions that change everything, on families that break and never come back together the same. There is no nice moral. There is no way to wrap this in something that makes sense. There is only the raw truth that sometimes life is unfair, that sometimes people make terrible decisions, that sometimes there are no happy endings. There is only survival. And the truth is also that there are decisions that have no turning back, that mark everything that comes after, that divide your life into a before and an after, and that you have to live with those decisions, with that weight forever. Esteban made a decision, one single, in a moment of desperation, of fear, of cowardice, and that decision destroyed everything: his family, his daughter, his life, the lives of all those around him. One decision, one moment, and everything changed forever. There is no justification for what he did. There is no way to understand what would make it acceptable. But yes, there is a way to understand why it happened. The circumstances, the fear, the desperation, the lack of options, or the feeling of not having them. That does not justify it, but it helps to understand how someone reaches that point. And that is perhaps the most terrifying part. That it was not a monster who did this. It was a normal person, a normal dad in extraordinary circumstances, and that maybe, just maybe, any of us could reach that point if things align in the wrong way. This story is not to glorify anything, it is not to justify anything, it is to show. So you see, so you understand that these things happen, that there are people living this right now, that there are families destroying themselves at this moment, and that maybe, just maybe, if we understand how it happens, we can start to do something so it does not happen more. If you made it this far, thank you. Seriously, I know it was long, I know it was heavy, I know it is not easy to listen to stories like this, but they are important, they are necessary, because what is not talked about cannot be changed. I invite you to subscribe to the channel, to share, to comment, not only because it helps me, but because these stories need to be told. They need to reach more people, and the more we are aware, the more we can do. Click on the next video that appears on the screen. There are more stories, more realities, more uncomfortable but necessary truths.